with Gear 5 finally making an on-screen appearance, I thought this is a perfect time to celebrate One Piece and all its epic moments. So, in 2 parts, we're gonna go through every single epic moment chronologically of One Piece. And yeah, One Piece is really long, but the thing about it is it has these legendary moments that just give you goosebumps. It makes you stand up, it makes you walk around your room, it makes you scream, it makes you go, oh my god, it makes you go through so many emotions. And that's why it's just a really, really great watch. A long watch, tedious at times, but a really great one. So let's start from the very beginning. That's Shanks saving Luffy from the shark. Epic moment. I think this comes second or third episode while he's talking to Zorro and explaining his backstory. And goddamn, from the start, we all love Shanks. Total badass. It's a little bit of a plot hole, because no way a random sea creature is touching Shanks, especially considering that Luffy beat the shit out of that sea creature in one hit before he even went on his journey. But at the same time, damn, that was so badass. Like, Shanks shown as this weakling originally to Luffy, like, bro, why aren't you fighting back, yada yada, when the other crew messes with them. But it doesn't matter because there's no point in fighting. And this we see later in Luffy too, because there's no point in fighting, but when he has to fight, oh my god. This is also the first time we actually see Conqueror's Haki, with Shanks just looking at the shark, and then I'm calling it a shark, whatever it is, a sea creature, and goddamn, that shit just runs away, just goosebumps on your spine. And of course, the legendary moment of Shanks handing down his straw hat to Luffy. There was a lot of hidden things in this flashback that we probably didn't notice on our first watch or second watch, that we found out even more recently, especially for the anime watchers, about like Luffy's real fruit, Conqueror's Haki, like I already said. But the main point and what this establishes is that strong father-son character type relationship, mentor and student relationship between Luffy and Shanks. What really makes the scene like super epic and so worthy to start this list off is the fact that it is epic the second or third time you're watching One Piece or rereading One Piece. The first time you see the scene, it probably doesn't mean much to you, but after like 1,000 chapters and episodes, you realize how important this scene is and how much of a turning point it is, not just for Luffy's character, but for Shanks's too. So it's definitely up there with one of the most epic scenes in One Piece. Just spine chilling. Hawkeye arriving at the Baratier is another great epic moment that kind of sets a precedent of what to expect coming in One Piece. When you look at the East Blue Saga, you see it as kind of like a prequel to the actual story of One Piece, which really starts when you get to the Grand Line. And Hawkeye arriving at the Baratier, it just represents that there's so much to this world, so much to the power scaling, and so much for our protagonists to go through to get to that level. And the fact is that even after 20 or maybe even 25 years after this aired, they're still not there yet. They're close, but still not there yet. So showing such a powerful character this early in the series was actually wild. Earlier with Shanks, it was like at the time he wasn't a warlord, but Hawkeye is literally a warlord, and he's shown in like, what is this, the 12th, 14th episode? And they showed him as a complete beast. He beats Zorro, gives him permanent chest wounds with a small knife. Cause Hawkeye doesn't even bother capturing Luffy or Zorro or any of them. At this time, they don't even have a bounty. They're not even worth it. They're like ants. He just felt like humbling Zorro, so shit, he just did that. And of course, this is one of the best Zorro scenes ever, one of the most vital moments in his character development, when he picks up his sword all bloodied and he vows to Luffy to never lose again and to become the greatest swordsman. It's double effective because if you remember, he had a dream where it basically showed his entire backstory just a couple episodes ago. So we really get to see like how serious Zorro is about his dream and how much of a journey Zoro really has to get to that point. Amazing scene. Epic indeed. Nami asking Luffy for help. This is another epic scene. Everyone knows Arlong is like the first proper One Piece boss fight. Before this, it was individual fights here and there, some minion fights, some light fights with like Kuro the sickle guy, and the guy from the Baratie. But Arlong is the first fight. We're gonna see soon, starting from the Grand Line, that you're gonna get to this formula where Zoro or Sanji fight the second, third strongest. Usopp and the rest kind of find a strategic way to fight the other guys, and then Luffy's always fighting the big bad. And this is the first time we see it. Such a badass scene where Nami kind of opens up as a character. We can finally relate to her, show her some sympathy, and we all like her now. But Luffy always believed in her the whole time, never doubted her, knew that she was going to be his Nakama. And it was just so badass, bro. The way he just put the straw hat on Nami, and the other guys are just chilling, ready to, walk up on Arlong Park. Come on, man. How can you hate this scene? Alright, let's fast forward a little. Whiskey Peaks. Whiskey Peaks, I think, is only 1 episode, maybe 2 episodes long max. Okay, maybe 3. I don't know, bro. The pacing back then was just so crazy. I can't even imagine it being longer than 2 episodes, but who knows? Back in the day, shit could have been 10 episodes for all I know. But Whiskey Peaks was so cool because, Luffy, Sanji, Usopp are super trusting and gullible. Nami and Zoro, not so much. It really shows the differences in the characters, the Straw Hat relationships, the character dynamics with one another. They're really starting to meld and settle in with one another and truly become like this family we love watching. The reason I picked Whiskey Peaks is because they're really only there for like 4 or 5 hours, and it's just so entertaining. The whole thing is so epic. It's hilarious, but it also really shows how cool the Straw Hats are. I mean, Luffy is literally fighting Zoro because he hurt the people of Whiskey Peaks, and they casually just stop fighting to one-hit KO Miss Valentine at number 5. And on the other hand, you got Nami running around trying to swindle like everyone for returning Vivi to Alabaster. It was so funny, and in its own way, it was pretty epic. I mean, yeah, there's the whole like Alabaster plotline starts here, but Whiskey Peaks is so much more than that because you really see the 3 main characters kind of interact with one another and just show their character developments and dynamic. Like just Nami telling Zoro to stop fighting because these guys are gonna pay us is pretty cool. It's like the first time you really see like, okay, these guys are the Straw Hat crew. They're acclimated with one another. They're not strangers to one another. Alright, moving from the beginning of the Alabaster arc right to the end. I'm talking about the iconic X scene. Everyone knows the scene. This is wallpaper for a lot of people. Alabaster is really like the first arc that spans through multiple islands. I mean, before it was only like one island or one area. You go there, Luffy solves the problem, yada yada, Straw Hats win, get stronger. But no, Alabaster is the first time you go through multiple islands to finally get to Alabaster. Then Alabaster is so huge, you're going through cities and different towns, villages, and just the shit that they went through with Vivi. Like, this is the first time you really experience like a lot of emotional depth in One Piece. I mean, you do of course before, but this is just something that's been building up for a while now, and you see things like this later on in Wano with Mononosuke, kind of like what they did with Vivi here. You really establish a connection with her. I remember when Vivi left, I just didn't believe it. I'm like, oh, she's gonna come back, right? But she never did. I mean, because like it's like the first time watching One Piece, you're like, bro, they literally went through so much shit with Vivi. Like, how is she not a main character? How is she leaving? But she's still quote unquote an unofficial member of the Straw Hats, you know? They can't even say goodbye to her either because like the Marines are right there. So the only way to show Vivi that they actually care and that she'll always be remembered is by showing that X on their hand, all of them raising their hands, turning their backs to Vivi, and just to show them that, well, just to show her that you will always be one of us. You'll always be a Straw Hat. That this X on the back of our wrist, hand, whatever, represents that. It represents our bond, our connection, everything we've been through. Lots of imagery, lots of symbolism. We don't have to go into that. But this whole scene was wholesome. It was beautiful. And of course, it was really, really epic. Now, moving on to a more famous scene of One Piece. A lot of people put this scene as one of the most disrespectful moments in anime, one of the most badass moments in anime, and I'm going to put it in my list as well as one of the most epic moments in One Piece. And because we're going chronologically, like we're going in order, I'm sure some of the One Piece fans can already tell what this is. That's right. It's when Luffy one-hit punches Bellamy, knocks the living shit out of him, permanently engraves his face. This is kind of like that scene with Shanks earlier, but just executed way better, and it's with Luffy, so we definitely have more of a connection, and it's just way more badass, man. They go to the bar, they talk about the Lost City of Gold, they talk about the Sky Islands, everyone laughs at them, they're ridiculed, people in the bar start beating the shit out of them, and you know, Luffy, he orders Zoro to not fight back because there's no point, there's no reason to fight these weaklings, you know. And Nami has to drag their bodies, well, you know, their injured bodies outside of the bar, and everyone just belittles them, you know. So when the Bellamy pirates jump Cricket and take his shit, you know, that's a reason. Luffy goes all the way back. He goes all the way back across the island, the other side of the island, calls out Bellamy in front of the whole town, everyone's watching, and just humbles him with one single punch. I think that's why people love this scene so much. Bellamy is instantly depicted as this over-cocky, kind of spoiled asshole type, and just seeing Luffy humble him was just crazy. And what makes it so epic, it was just one punch. A single punch. God damn. Next up, we got Enel completely dealing with everyone, but he can't fight Luffy because of a technicality. Rubber is immune to lightning. It's just so hilarious because Enel is one of those villains that are meant to be late game villains, you know, like now Luffy should be fighting someone as strong as Enel, but just because of the fact, actually Enel still might come back, as a lot of people are speculating, and it makes sense too, but just because of the fact that Luffy is made of rubber, Enel can't do shit. I mean, when you watch Skypiea and you see how scary Enel is, like he's literally a god to them, and he is so strong. He's one-shotting Zoro, Sanji, anyone in his way, and he just can't do anything to Luffy because he's made of rubber. It's literally the epitome of One Piece. The perfect combination of action and comedy. Of course, there's also the scene with Luffy ringing the bell, you know, that's emotional and all, but just the fact that Enel couldn't do shit to Luffy even after going into like his awakened form, or his whatever that form was, like it's just so funny, man. And seeing Wano now in the Kaido fight, it was just giving me flashbacks of the Enel fight, where it's like it was serious but you're also laughing your ass off. So it might be a funny moment, but it's definitely an epic one. Rescuing Robin from Ennis Lobby. So for a lot of people, me included, this is when One Piece kind of became one of their favorite anime. I know that there's even better arcs, especially the one right after this, But just this moment when Soge King, whoever that masked individual is, burned down the world government flag. When Luffy tells Robin, the only way we can save you is if you ask. And Robin just screaming like, I want to live, help me. And all the Straw Hats just standing there, ready to save Robin, ready to ride out. It was so epic, man. The struggle they went to get there, to make their family, make their crew. And now they're just going back to take one of them. They kind of try to do that with Sanji and Whole Cake Island, but nothing compares to this moment where Robin just screams like, I want to live. And don't forget, this is also around the time they show Gear 2 and Gear 3. Also the ceremony to say bye to Mary, all that stuff. There's so much going on in Ennis Lobby, but there's no moment that's more epic than just the Straw Hats standing in that line and Usopp burning the flag. Oh, sorry. Soge King burning the flag. This brings us to the end of Ennis Lobby. The whole crew getting bounties. Oh my god, what an epic moment this was. Just seeing their reactions to their bounties. And not just that, you get to see the reactions of their families back home, the whole world, the people they previously interacted with. The bounties are such a cool system because they're not just like a power level like in Dragon Ball Z. They kind of also show how much you've accomplished and how much clout you have. So for them to finally, all of them to finally get bounties, and not just any regular bounties, like high ones too, is pretty, like as a fan, it really just shows you that sense of development and where they were versus where they are. God, what an epic moment. Sometimes I literally just watch these bounty receiving scenes just because it gives me goosebumps, just because it's so cool. You love that sense of character development as an audience. It's with scenes like this, like these intervals that represent like a big battle is over, the arc is over, and this is just the aftermath and epilogue, not just for this island but for the whole world. And it's in these bounty receiving scenes where we slowly see that the way the world looks at the Straw Hats changes more and more and more. But of course, there's a lot that the world doesn't see of the Straw Hats. Sometimes there's a lot that the Straw Hats don't see about each other. This brings us to Zoro's best moment. We all know Zoro's best moment, come on. It's when Zoro takes all of Luffy's pain from Kuma to protect his captain, protect his crew. So much pain. He takes all the pain Luffy took from all his previous fights, not just one. And he takes it all like nothing happened. He's just standing there, bloodied. Sanji looks at him like, bro, you good? He completely got rolled. He just looks at him. Nothing happened. There's not much I can really say about the scene, more than the fact that it represents Zoro's loyalty and who he is as a character, his strength, his determination, his will, his goddamn, bro. I'm done. This is just such an epic scene. I can't even do it justice by saying anything. Next scene. Alright, we got Luffy punching the fuck out of the Celestial Dragon. It's similar to the whole Bellamy situation where you depict such a spoiled, overconfident asshole and then Luffy just knocks the shit out of him. That's one thing you gotta love about Luffy. He acts out of his own sense of justice. You know, women, children, celestial dragons. Luffy will punch the shit out of you if he thinks you're wrong. And it's just so, like, everyone's like, Luffy, don't do it, whatever you do, stay away from the celestial dragon. That Luffy does not give shit. He rocked that celestial dragon shit. He's also a slave owner and trader, so I guess, you know, they just really wanted to make you hate the celestial dragon and really depict him as an asshole before Luffy knocked him out, and it was definitely gratifying. For sure, an epic moment. And that brings us to our final epic moment to go through. I know, I'll do a post time skip one some other time. Right now, I just wanted to talk about the pre-time skip, only because, God, One Piece is so long. Like, even writing down notes, I had to go through like a summary of One Piece and kind of just try to remember the best moments. If I missed your favorite moment, let me know. I'll definitely include it in the next list. But let's just get into the final moment. So what makes the pre-time skip so good about One Piece is that it saved its most epic moment till the end. And the most epic moment of One Piece pre-time skip is basically all of Marineford. Bro, there's a reason why Marineford's everyone's favorite arc. It literally feels like the end of a chapter. It's the perfect arc to end One Piece right before the time skip. And it really shows that there's levels to this, man. Kainu, Sengoku, even Garb, Whitebeard, Blackbeard. Luffy's not even close to as strong as these guys. And it really, kind of everything that was happening in the world throughout these arcs, throughout Luffy's journey, there's still shit going on in the world with Ace, with Blackbeard, with the marine government, the world government. It all kind of just built up to this very moment that changed the entire world of One Piece, kind of flipped it over its head. So many epic moments for individual characters, the world as a whole. God damn, how can you hate Marineford? If you love One Piece, you love Marineford. I don't know one One Piece fan who did not like Marineford. That's how good of an arc it is. And so much shit happens too. You get Ace's lineage revealed, like he's freaking Goldie Roger's son, and his mom somehow held him in her womb for what, like 20 months? Then you get Luffy's lineage revealed to the whole world, and just seeing like people's reactions was like, god damn. Then Whitebeard dies, and of course before he dies you get that legendary, the One Piece is real, the One Piece is out there. We all love that meme. Even people that don't watch anime know that meme, man. Then you get Ace's death in such an epic way, you know, sacrificing a life for Luffy and thanking him for caring for him. Like, god damn. Oh yeah, and there's that scene where Luffy basically goes to Whitebeard and he's like, hey, I'm him. And then Whitebeard's like, shit, and he tells his crew, hey guys, he's him, so just let him through, support him, I guess, just don't let him die. And then, you know, even till right from the beginning to the end, like at the end, Shanks just comes through and the war just ends. Nobody wants to fight Shanks. That's how much of a legend he is. He's like, he comes through, he's like, alright guys, the war's over. If anyone else wants to fight, they gotta go through me. And then everyone on both sides like, shit, alright, I'm good. You got Blackbeard showing that he can control 2 devil fruits too. Oh my god, man. Like, Marineford is the epitome of world building executed to perfection. Because this arc doesn't focus on the Straw Hats. Yeah, Luffy plays a role in it, but it does not focus on the Straw Hats at all. It focuses on the world. Everyone and everything in the One Piece world changes post Marineford. You get legendary characters that die or that become even more powerful, or that retire like Sengoku, or become whatever the highest rank is, like Kainu, and even Aokiji ends up leaving. There's so much world development for non-main characters, and that's why One Piece is the king of anime. Marineford is a perfect example of that. The world of One Piece is constantly changing. It's always being affected by the main characters, the side characters, the villains. It's very intricate and detailed. There's lineages, there's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents that you kind of already have a sense for. You know what happened in this generation and in this generation and in this generation. For such a huge world. And of course, this isn't even including the lost generation that everyone wants to know about. that's what makes it so intriguing, right? Like, you want to know about the history of the world, the history of these characters, the history of their families. You want to know it all. And One Piece always delivers, and Marineford is the epitome of basically executing on the perfect build-up. This has been built up for like 600 episodes at the time, maybe less, maybe I'm capping, maybe like 400 episodes at the time. It built up to that point where, you know, Marineford happened, and that was like the end of a chapter for One Piece, which was just a beautiful way to send off the characters before the time skip. Ooh, and that's it. That was a lot harder than it sounded, you know, making notes and shit, but it was worth it, because going through the entire story of One Piece again was so fun. I can't wait to do the post time skip epic moments. And again, if I forgot a certain moment, because even in my head and even in my notes, there were some moments I'm like, should I include that? Nah, I don't know if it's epic enough. So if I did forget anything, let me know and remind me, and I'll definitely talk about it next time. As for the SOS podcast itself, you can expect more constant uploads in the upcoming months. You can expect to see some guests coming through. We're gonna be playing games. You know, we're gonna really have fun with it. We're gonna talk other stuff, and of course, once the season starts, you know your boy's gonna get on that NBA grind and, you know, give you guys the what's what. Now I have like a little bit more time. I've just been so swamped with the webcomic I've been writing and the short film I've been working on. But I've been getting better at organizing my time. And now that I don't have to talk about the NBA, because like I said, when you're talking about basketball, things get outdated real quick. Like, I don't have to rush myself. So I can really focus on everything and really try to give you guys good, consistent, and entertaining episodes. Really excited about what's to come. But until then, I'm Nobby Dinger, and I'll catch y'all later.